You're listening to Hackers IRL. We're the people the news pretends are a single character. We are not. We pop shells, walk our dogs, fight with our printers, and somehow ship the work. This show is voicemails. Brain dumps from our side of the wire about whatever's on our minds. The line stays open. Up next, Panda with Assura, the superheroes of cybersecurity. Here's their story.
Hey guys, I hope everyone's well and had an awesome holiday. I've been getting back to stuff this past week. With Claude, they extended the Fable access until at least the end of today. We'll see if after today it goes to a extra usage only model. I'm curious when they're actually going to ramp it back up because, ChatGPT and Codex are kind of coming hard with these new models, Sol, Terra, and Luna, I believe they are. It's pretty interesting seeing, their approach and how their stuff's stacking up now that, OpenAI's next gen's coming out. One thing I thought was really interesting is on the Claude side of things, you have the CVP cyber verification program. So that's something that, I had to go and, fill out like my requested use for their model and, my kind of chops as an InfoSec person, I guess, it's asking for links and LinkedIn and, stuff like that. So it can verify that somewhere on the internet, it says that I'm using, not using technology, but doing cybersecurity research and working within cybersecurity. So, it verifies in that way. It's something I've worried about is, gating these models and limiting access to people who are just kind of up and coming in the industry. So, like, for instance, my old company, we were a real estate company. We could buy locks and, locksmith tools and, elevator keys and, really whatever we wanted because we owned buildings. All I needed was a piece of letterhead, and if they saw that company on that letterhead, they would sell me, whatever physical security tools I wanted. Physical security, kind of does that verification process where it's, do you have the chops? Are you, someone who should be doing this stuff? And Anthropic's model right now is mirroring that. And one thing that I've struggled with it is like, even though I did that CVP, and I have my personal models verified for CVP on Anthropic, as well as, models that I use at work. So if I try to go do a cybersecurity task, on Fable, obviously, right now, unless you really have it brainwashed, it's going to jump you back to Opus. But Opus even, it pushes back on cybersecurity tasks like crazy right now. So I was struggling, just getting it to make some basic like click fix lures and, implement telemetry on a website, that I could use for social engineering, campaign tracking, but it's honestly pretty mundane stuff. And, it pushes back on stuff like crazy if you want to do anything cybersecurity related. Like once it takes a hard stance too, even if you convince it beyond, like it's line in the sand, I've noticed that there's extra guardrails that kick in. So, the other day with those lures, I was working on, at first it was like, you need to fill out a CVP. And so I gave it the email that was my approved CVP. And then it was like, oh, well, I guess you are authorized to do this. and it started to do the coding on those lures, and then it dropped it and flagged out with hey, this is unauthorized cybersecurity or whatever. And then it basically the next session I picked up, and I got to the point where it knew that I had the CVP, and then it was telling me it wouldn't do it without explicit client authorization. So I gave it, a kind of like redacted client authorization that I had, and then walked through that. And then once again, like it jumped into, building that out, and it actually finished everything and put it on the scrap pad. And then this extra guardrail kicked in, to kick the job out. But I ended up finishing those lures with Codex, and at the time I didn't even know Codex had a new program or anything. But Codex has been a little better at helping me with cybersecurity, kind of just infrastructure and day-to-day workflow stuff that us offensive guys have to deal with. So both have been great models, but Anthropic's been really naggy lately. It's been hard to get work done using it. I might as well just like code the thing myself, at the time. So, but I'm trying to use models, learn and keep up with it. Anyway, Trail of Bits has been playing with I saw an article and said GPT-5.5 Cyber. And I was like, ooh, what is that? So apparently 5.5 Cyber is like a specialized cybersecurity model. I assume it's, mostly open to doing malicious and whatever else, you need it to do as an offensive guy. They have a verification program too. It's their trusted access program. So I just applied for that. It's kind of interesting though. It's a different approach than Anthropic. So this one wasn't asking about my cybersecurity chops, have me link to websites and stuff like that. This one, it literally just took my ID and it was like, okay, you're in. So I'm very curious how that's, like if it was just verifying, there's two routes I'm thinking that it could be. It's like, is verifying my ID and then going and doing a bunch of checks for my cybersecurity chops on the back end, or what I really hope is happening, which maybe we're there, maybe we're not, maybe it's going to take some more time. I don't think these models should be restricted at all. If you are dumb enough to use a model to do a crime, then it's no different than, doing a crime and doing a bunch of Google searches about that crime and exposing yourself that way, I think it's, up to the people using the models to decide what they want to use it for. And, if they do a crime, like, yeah, they should have your ID. They should have, info about you so they can track you down. Don't do crimes. And, like if you are going to do crimes, using a frontier model is kind of like really stupid. So anyway, I hope that that's the route that OpenAI is going. And I hope to see more providers go that route where they don't restrict the model. They just come after you if you use it for the wrong purpose. If you do illegal things, then yeah, they should be able to access that chat history and go after you. But that would democratize this, AI advantage, like in Anthropics. If you're new in the industry, you may not be able to get approved for that program. That was an easy bypass for me. So I want new people to be able to come up in the industry and get access to the same tools as me. And that's exciting. So anyway, I'm going to go for a bike ride, the Panda out, and please call in. It'd be great to hear from you guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Hackers IRL. Background music is Simplicity by Macroform. If you've got a story of your own, a breach, A leak, a close call, or just something on your mind? Join us. Call 904-915-HACK. That's 904-915-4225. Up to 10 minutes. Choose to preserve your OPSEC, and we distort your voice before anyone hears it. End of transmission.